Hello and welcome to the 2018 Florida 4-H Chick Chain webinar. We're glad that you're a part of this project with us. My name is Julie Dillard and I'm the 4-H agent and County Extension Director in Washington County. And this is Prudence Caskey, the 4-H agent in Santa Rosa County.
Welcome to the 2018 Chick Chain.
So what we're going to cover today is an overview of the 2018 Florida 4-H Chick Chain. We're going to talk to you a little bit about getting ready for your chicks. We're going to tell you where and when to pick up your chicks. We're also going to talk about biosecurity. We'll talk to you about home visits, where your 4-H agent will come see you at your house. We'll talk about the Poultry Perfection Workshop, where you'll learn some showmanship techniques. We'll also go over project books, showmanship, and our skill-a-thon.
The project will all start with the Youth Project Guide. In the project guide, you will have access to all of the different aspects of the program. The project book, of course, is vital to the program, as well as the new element that we're adding this year, which is the photography contest. There's a project timeline, basic materials that you will need, care, a little bit about biosecurity, poultry health, and explanation of the Chick Chain show that is the culmination of the project, which will be held September 29th, and some frequently asked questions, showmanship tips, as well as terminology.
So the basic parts of the 4-H Chick Chain include this, the webinar, and orientation and getting you ready for your project. And then you'll start your work. You'll raise your baby chicks to laying age. Along the way, you'll participate in a Poultry Perfection Workshop where we'll teach you all about how to groom your chickens for the show and how to present them in showmanship. We'll also have another webinar to help you get ready for the Chick Chain show. And then finally, our culminating event is the 4-H Chick Chain Poultry Show, where you'll also participate in showmanship and a skill-a-thon.
Yes, Julie. The day that the chicks arrive, they will need somewhere nice and warm to live. And so we teach you about how to set up what is called a brooder box for your baby chicks and all of the things that you will need. This is a link to a YouTube video that will show you how to set up a brooder if you do not already have one at your house.
So you'll notice that your chickens grow really quickly. And by the time that they're 9 weeks old, it'll be time to move them into a larger structure. We call this a coop. So your coop gives your birds a lot more room to move around. If you'll take a look in your project manual, it will give you the exact specifications on how much room your birds need. Right now, you are at 9 to 22 weeks. You should be able to tell if you have roosters in your coop. What you'll want to do is move those roosters out if you want to raise eggs only. If you want to have eggs and incubate them and raise more baby chicks, you can let your rooster stay. However, if you do that, you have to be prepared to make sure that he is not picking on the birds and pulling out feathers, because that is something that will affect how your birds do during the show. And the rule of thumb is that you have 1 rooster for every 10 hens that are in your coop.
When you're looking at your baby chicks as they are growing, you want to make sure that you have your light in an appropriate spot. This little illustration shows you how the chicks will react, and they will be dispersed equally throughout the brooder if they are comfortable. The same thing will happen as they're older if you have too much sun or too much shade in a particular area of your coop. So you always want to pay attention to how they're moving about the coop.
So March 21st, 2018 is the day that you want to mark on your calendar and make sure that you are ready for your chicks to arrive. It could happen that the chicks arrive the day before or even the day after this date. So make sure that you are available during that time to pick up your chicks. What you'll want to do is bring a cardboard box or a plastic tub. Make sure that you have newspaper or paper towels on the bottom of that. And you're going to come to the UF Extension Holmes County office in Bonifay. Pickup time ends at 4 o'clock. Now, your 4-H agent may contact you and coordinate pickup for your county. So you'll be in contact with your 4-H agent or your project volunteer to make sure that your chicks are picked up and on time.
When your chicks arrive, they are going to be hungry and thirsty, and they will probably eat and drink on the way home. You want to make sure that you don't have the air condition cranked all the way up in the vehicle on the way home, because their little bodies will want to stay warm. You're going to use a heat lamp, which is explained how to set up your brooder in the brooder video. But you always want to take a good look at how they're moving about the coop. In this picture, this is a temporary situation on the way home, and the youth have newspaper down. The best thing for them is pine shavings that you can get from any feed store. It's used for shavings in a horse stall, so you can buy one bale of it and it will last your whole project. And that's the best thing for them to move around on.
Okay, nutrition is a very important part of your project. The better feed that you feed your chickens, the better they're going to grow and the healthier they are going to be. But their greatest need is water. You want to keep fresh, clean water in front of your birds at all times. Now, your greatest cost is going to be feed. But like I said, the better you feed them, the better they're going to grow. So from weeks 1 through 8, you're going to feed your chicks a chick starter. You can buy this as a pre-mixed commercial feed. But what you want to make sure is look on the label or on the front of the bag and make sure that it has at least 20% crude protein. When they get to be about 7 weeks of age, you're going to move them to a grower. This is the time that I like to call your chickens your teenager chickens. They will be growing and eating a lot. So you need to look for a chicken grower feed. It has about 16 to 20% protein. And then around week 20, that's when most chickens will start laying. Yours may lay a little bit earlier or even several weeks later than that. So you can start feeding them layer crumbles or pellets with a 16% protein count.
Thank you, Julie. And we always want to reiterate, when you're switching feed with an animal, you do it a little bit at a time. Don't wait till one bag runs out and just flip them over to the new bag. You want to mix that for just a little bit when you're making that switch from starter to layer to grower. The next thing we're going to discuss is biosecurity basics. Anybody who has had chickens or any other farm animal at their house knows that you don't want their mess in your house. That's for sure. So we always encourage a separate pair of shoes. We call them coop shoes at my house. And we want to keep those out of our house and make sure that the transfer does not come into our house, as well as we don't want it going all over the farm. You want to avoid sharing tools with neighbors. And we also encourage a foot bath for your coop shoes to be able to clean those off. And we mix that at our house. It's just a shallow Rubbermaid tub with water and some bleach. And my son steps out of the coop and steps into the tub, and then his coop shoes are free of any debris, we will say. Of course, when you get back in the house, you want to wash your hands very well and make sure that you change your clothes if you snuggled any of your birds while you were out in the coop.
When you pick up your chicks, we'll give you a copy of this poster and it'll be laminated. So what we'd like you to do is post it in your coop so that all of your friends and your neighbors and your family who come and visit your coop see that you are committed to biosecurity and that they'll follow these rules and regulations too.
One of the exciting parts about this project for us as 4-H agents is we get to do a home visit, and it's one of my favorite parts of the project. And this is where the extension agent in your office will come and take a look at how you're doing things at your house. We love to come and see, where your chicks are and what kind of neat ideas you have. I was at a visit last year, and Julie, one of my youth, asked me, "Do you know why that my coop has 2 doors?" And I said, "No, why?" because if it had 4 doors, it would be a chicken sedan. That's what he told me at his house. So that was pretty good. So we're excited. We get to do a farm visit and see what your chickens, how they're living the good life at your house.
Another favorite part of mine of the project is the Poultry Perfection Workshop.
Yes.
So you've done all this great work at home. You've made sure that your chickens are growing well. They're getting strong. They're getting healthy. But what about showmanship? Remember, we talked about that. That was an important part of the Chick Chain show. Well, each of your 4-H districts will host a Poultry Perfection Workshop. So your 4-H districts are listed up here on the screen. If you are unable to go to your district workshop, though, you can always come to one of the other districts. But at that workshop, we're going to teach you how to clean your bird, and we're actually going to bathe them, dry them, and show you some grooming techniques. We're going to talk about poultry showmanship with you, how you present the bird to the judge and how you display the bird. We'll teach you all about what you wear during the show, and we'll also practice our skill-a-thon. This is a fun way to test what you've been learning during your project.
When you pick your chicks up, you will also receive a project book for the project. And it's an exciting part of the project because you have your records all in one place. We've changed this a little bit from previous years. The youth are going to have strictly a project book, rather than some youth were very creative and had scrapbooks, and that was wonderful. But what we're really concerned about are the records. So what we are going to give you is a project book, and the record is what is vital to this project. I encourage you to keep your records throughout the project. Nobody wants to stay up till midnight the night before the show trying to scramble and fill out that book. And they're due actually before the show on September 14th. So you don't want to waste a night doing that and trying to get that record book in. So whenever you get home from your feed store, I encourage you to copy that down in your book and make sure that you keep good records. The photos are worth 1,000 words. We've always heard that. So we do still want photos in the back of the book. And we look forward to hearing the fabulous project stories that the youth come up with as well.
For sure. And we were excited this year to add a photography contest to the 4-H Chick Chain show. So start taking pictures early in your project. Those pictures will also go into your project book, and we want to see your project grow in your book from beginning, middle, and all the way to the end. So make sure that you take a good look at your 4-H Chick Chain Youth Project Guide. That will have all of the rules and guidelines for the new photography show. You can enter a single photo, and you can enter a series of photos. Those are going to be due to your 4-H agent on the same day that your project book is.
And then it will be showtime. It will be so exciting. September 29th in Chipley, here at the Washington County Extension Office, we will have our show. The arrival times are going to be staggered to allow for the testing of the birds. Now what that means is the Department of Agriculture will test your birds to make sure that they are disease-free before we bring them all together into one barn. If you come from a farm that is NPIP certified, then you can just bring that card, and that means that your whole farm has been tested and you will not have to wait in that line. If you have concerns about how to do that, how to get your farm NPIP certified, just give your extension agent a call and they can walk you through that process. It is free of charge, and it's a service that the Department of Agriculture offers. At the show, we will also have our skill-a-thon, and there will be a separate webinar put together to go into depth about what the skill-a-thon is and what's expected of the youth. The birds will be judged on their own merit based on national standards of that breed. And then showmanship is where we judge the youth and what they know about their birds and the project that they've completed. And then we will have awards.
So just a little bit about awards and recognition. Like Prudence says, we're going to judge your birds on national standards of perfection. So we have several awards that will be given out to our best of breeds, and we're going to name an overall grand champion and overall reserve champion for the show. So you will get individual placings for your birds. And then we're going to recognize our youth and the hard work that they've done through the project. So you'll get scores on your project book and be recognized for that. In showmanship, juniors will compete against each other, intermediates will compete against each other, and seniors will compete against each other for first, second, and third place. We'll also have recognition for the photography contest. And then just a special note, our clover buds who are 5 to 7 years old are non-competitive, but they will be earning special participation ribbons and recognition in this year's show.
Which is always fun for them. I know I began raising poultry when I was about 5 years old, and I would have been a clover bud if they had clover buds in 4-H back then, but I'm so old. The last thing we wanted to touch on for you is the links for the information, how to care for baby chicks, and the district website where you can get some information on the project. If you have any questions about the project, you can certainly contact your 4-H extension agent in your county. We look forward to seeing you at the show.
All right, and we'll see you at our upcoming workshop too. Thank you so much. And remember, we're here to help, so make sure that you call or contact your 4-H agent. We're here for you.